Chazal tell us that Rav Yossi said, Ilav hayoma kami Yossi ika bashuka. Were it not for that day, meaning the giving of the Torah, how many Yossis would there be in the shuk? Meaning, if it wasn't for the giving of the Torah, I would literally just be another average Joe. But because of the giving of the Torah, I'm not just Yossi, but I'm Rav Yossi. I'm different. But when we look at this Maimer Chazal, some questions appear before us, and they are the flowering of some very important ideas. The first question is, what does it mean when it says Ilav Hayoma? Why doesn't it say Ilav Matan Torah? It seems like there's something about the day of Matan Torah, not just the giving of the Torah, but the day on which it happened. That's transformative for Rav Yossi. The second question is, why does it say Kama Yossi Ika Bashuka? Why does it say, how many average Joes would there be in the shuk? I would just be like any of the other average Joes. Why not, how many Yossis are there in the Beis Medrash? Why specifically in the shuk? Individuality is a hard thing. We are made to be radically individualized. Every single soul is different. But we lose our individuality. We give up our individuality because we want power. Every one of us wants to fit in. We want to be a part of the marketplace. In the marketplace, there's commerce happening. I have the power to purchase, and you have something to purchase, which means that I need to have the power to purchase. And I also want to get it from you, and you want to be able to take from me. So there's a lot of power happening. In the face of power, we often lose ourselves to become like everybody else so that we are acceptable. That's what we want. There's a certain power that comes with being part of the group. And so we could lose ourselves in the marketplace of life. I want to be accepted. I want to be loved. I want to be part of the group. I want to be able to get what I need. I want to be able to be a part of this community. But we lose something so precious when we do that. We lose the gift of the soul. We are all a piece of this puzzle called life. And when we start playing somebody else's role, we've lost ourselves, and that's an exceptional tragedy. Rav Yossi says, were it not for that day, the day of the giving of the Torah, but specifically the day, what does that mean? Of course, the Torah itself demands that we are individualized. It demands of us that we are the unique soul that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us to be. But even more than that, Rav Yossi was saying, we must be mindful of the day. In other words, the giving of the Torah was an event that occurred in time. And when we're mindfully aware of the time in which we are living, when we're present in reality, living in this moment, it gives us the capacity to be deeply connected to ourselves. The challenge for so many of us is that we're not mindful of the present. We lose ourselves to the need for power, but we're not aware of the soil that we are firmly planted in this moment. And so the antidote to losing ourselves, to the marketplace and the desire for power, is mindfulness, being present in this moment and recognizing that in this moment, a Torah was given for me to access my unique and creative soul. And this is what Rav Yossi was saying. Ilav hayoma. Baruch Hashem, the Torah wasn't given just in the beginning of creation, but there was a day. We can attach ourselves to a moment in time and be present in reality. If it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the mindfulness of the day, I would have lost myself to the need for power, and I would have been like everybody else. And that is a tragedy. And as we come upon Matan Torah this year again, I know for those in America, it's a 3-day yontif. I know here in Eretz Yisrael, it's a 2-day yontif, and people are losing their minds. But as we come to the day of Matan Torah, let's take stock. Let's take a moment and say, what was I created for? Why is HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving me a Torah today? And then taking that mindfulness that we have and applying it to our lives, becoming with tremendous courage the person that you are. And yes, it's vulnerable, and yes, it's scary. Will I be accepted? Will I not be accepted? But if you're not really you, who's accepting you anyway? Rabosai, have a beautiful Yom Tov.